Hi there folks! I won't exaggerate if I say that Calgary's real estate market hasn't been so interesting to follow in decades, especially now when it's attracting people from all over Canada and from other countries as well because of affordable real estate compared to other major Canadian cities. It just happens that I am in a house hunting process myself here right now, and I've been watching Calgary's real estate market for a very long time, very closely, pretty much checking out all the new listings for the last few months just to get the idea of what's going on and how the perfect deal for the money looks like. In this video, I will show you what kind of houses you can get in 3 different price ranges here in Calgary, providing you with examples to demonstrate how approximately the perfect house in each price range looks like and what are you getting for your buck. So you would know exactly what to expect from this heated but still reasonable housing market. Let's start from quite affordable houses in a $400,000 to $500,000 range. And trust me, you'll be surprised what kind of a nice homes you can get within such an affordable budget. And then I will slowly progress to more expensive options in $500,000 to $600,000 range, which is still quite inexpensive for families with above average income, especially considering that in Toronto you would pay triple for the same houses, while the salaries remain pretty much the same. No wonder we're seeing projection models that predict up to 25% housing market decline in the future, though I don't believe that would affect Calgary's market. It means Ontario market, most likely. I decided to keep it as real as possible for most people and stay within affordable pricing. So we're not going to look at super modern or overly expensive houses today, but we will talk about them in a separate video. In one of my next videos, I'm going to select 5 best houses in a range of $500,000 to $800,000 budget and film each house in person. So I urge you to like this video to support the idea and subscribe to that channel so you won't miss it, because I do upload new videos about real estate and finances weekly, occasionally trying to explore new topics as well to keep the content interesting for my audience, so you won't see repetitive content here unless it's really helpful. As I promised before, let's start with $400,000 to $500,000 homes. This is still within the reach for many Canadians with average income or even below, as you don't need to have a huge down payment to get into the market. As you probably learned from my previous videos, all you really need is a 5% down payment, so $20,000 Canadian will get you in, while your monthly mortgage payments will be about $1,500 to $1,600 per month, which is quite manageable for most families and individuals with an average income. See, that's exactly the reason why I moved to Calgary. In Ontario, you can't even afford a decent condo with that kind of money. Why would I pay triple for the same house? That just doesn't make much sense to me. Maybe you can explain in the comment section. I will cut to the point here. What $400,000 gets you in Calgary as of March? Well, you can count on a spacious and modern kitchen with everything you might need, a huge dining and living room area with ample sunlight, and if you're lucky, you might even get a nice view from your living room or the kitchen windows. Usually you can count on 3 bedrooms in a house and 2 to 3 bathrooms. The flooring options are different pretty much in all the listings I've been seeing, but usually it's a mix of good hardwood floors with a carpet. Though I do prefer having just the hardwood floors everywhere and no carpet whatsoever, and I have seen many options with nice hardwood floors all over the house within the $500,000 range, so it is possible to find. The quality of your basement would largely depend on your luck, because you might get a very nice and finished one that you can rent out for an additional $1,000 per month in the future if you would want to, but in my experience, nicely finished basements come in more expensive options, usually in $500,000 to $600,000 homes. When it comes to the exterior finishings, you will often see vinyl sliding, and sometimes you can get nice stucco or stone exterior finishes, but those usually get sold within a day or so. Sometimes I see some options with a nice view from the bedroom window or from a living room overlooking the park or some parts of the city center, but that shouldn't be the main factor, especially for that price range, because it's still quite affordable. Space-wise, $400,000 to $500,000 in Calgary will get you a fairly large attached home or a duplex with about 1,300 to 1,400 square feet, which is sufficient for most people. And it's also fair to mention that any house hunter is about to feel some heat when entering today's market. I've noticed that almost all really good options disappear within a day or so after being posted, so you would really need to monitor every single listing closely. I wouldn't suggest relying only on your real estate agent, since you can always find the best option yourself, pretty much watching and assessing every single house appearing on the market. And just before we continue, I kindly ask you to show support by subscribing to this channel and liking this video. As annoying as it might be for me to repeat it, this is how the YouTube algorithms work, and it will help more people see relevant and free content about real estate investing and finances. Moving over to more expensive $500,000 to $600,000 price range essentially gets you more premium feel with better design, interior and exterior materials, better kitchen appliances, and more desirable location. But that wouldn't be a deal breaker for many people, and that's why the affordable options usually get more interest and sell much quicker as well. But of course, if you have a higher budget, you're willing to spend and do care about all those little details, even when the big picture maybe doesn't change too much, you'll probably consider a more premium options in $500,000 to $700,000 range. So obviously when you have enough budget to afford more premium option, not talking about super luxurious houses or whatever, just like $500,000 to $700,000 option, of course go for that, because you get, again, better appliances, you can get much better view, you can get much more desirable location and all nice stuff like a better garage. It looks much fancier from the outside. But if you are on a budget like me and you're trying to save as much as possible and still get a very nice home, $400,000 to $500,000 is probably the best bet. You see, last year was extremely positive for Calgary's real estate market, considering that it just had 7 long years of stagnation following the oil prices decline back in 2014. And it's fair to say that this year is already taking the whole housing market situation to the next level, prices-wise. The market is growing not only because of rising immigration, both from different provinces and from international immigration, but also because the economy in Alberta is improving much faster than expected, which I talked about in more detail in my very first video, about unemployment rates, about all the tech companies immigrating in Calgary, about all the investments in the city. It has a lot of facts. I'm sure you will find it helpful. Compared to March of last year, the price for an average house in Calgary increased by 13%, while the number of transactions increased by mind-blowing 70% and keeps on rising. Still, it's nowhere near Ontario, where the prices have increased by 30 to 50% in most cities in just 2 years. But sooner or later, Calgary will start catching up, and even if prices in Ontario will finally crush by 20 or 25%, it shouldn't affect the market here. As I mentioned before, the economy is recovering way faster than expected, and right now Calgary has the lowest unemployment rate in Canada as well, while many tech companies, businesses, startups are moving here instead of Toronto or other more expensive Canadian cities. The investments in the province and the city itself are also flowing in. So for me, it's really hard to see the reason why the real estate prices will suddenly stop growing, especially if this growth will be nice and steady like it's supposed to be, without any crazy, unexpected hikes. The good news is that right now you can still afford a nice home in the range of $400,000 to $500,000, even though for a really good detached house you would need at least $600,000 to $700,000. Anyways, considering that this kind of budget in Ontario or BC gets you a semi in the rough areas built in 1940s with a leaky basement and a kitchen from the 80s, in the best case scenario, the market here in Alberta is still quite reasonable. For how long? Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I would love to see your opinion on future prospects of Calgary's real estate market and whether it looks attractive or not to you right now, and what your strategy in this current market is. If you have any suggestions, some feedback, please leave it in the comment section. I would be happy to read it, answer to every single comment, and I will see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe.